Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Matt Does Let's Plays. Today I am going to be playing Kerbal Space Program, a game where you play these little guys called Kerbals, and your goal is to leave the planet Kerbin and land on the moon or land on other planets, explore the solar system, things like that. We're going to get started here. I have a career already ready to go. My goal for the video today is to make my first landing mission to the moon, and I'm going to show you how that's done. Or maybe. This is my first time trying it. I might fail miserably. We shall see. So the first part about building a rocket, and this is a rocket simulator, so there are a lot of different parts that you can utilize, and they all have realistic physics, or realistic as far as I've been told. So we're going to start with a command pod, and we're going to use this one right here, because this one is kind of like a plane type, so it's not what I'm looking for right now. So this is where our Kerbal is going to be sitting, and we're going to have one guy going over there to the moon today. We're going to put a parachute at the top of there because that's what everybody needs on the way back is a parachute. With that, we're also going to put some battery packs, doing things like transmitting scientific studies for science, which is their research or their tech tree advancement stuff, experience points. There we go. And so that uses a lot of electricity, and also using some of the types of engines uses electricity. So I've been stranded in space before with no way to turn and no way to match or get to the certain place in space I need to be pointing at when I activate my engines to push myself in the right direction. We're going to get to that later. This is about building the rocket right now. So we got the command module with the Mark 16 parachute on top of it. We will add below that what is called a stack decoupler. Rockets work in different stages, if you notice in real life, and these are what they use to activate the different stages. That basically, when I press a certain button, will jettison itself off of my command module or whatever it's attached to, and everything below it will go with it. And attached to that, we're going to have a fuel tank. Let's go with a small fuel tank. This will be the fuel tank I hopefully use to get off of the moon and aim myself back at the planet. So with that engine, we also need something for it to land on. And down here we have a symmetry mode that lets you build things in a perfect fashion, which is great for me because I'm a little bit OCD about that kind of stuff. And we're going to put those right there. Those will extend when we decide to use them, past the engine, I hope. Actually, let's go test that right now. We're gonna save this, and we're gonna go to the launch pad. And what we're gonna do here is basically just activate the gears to see if I waste all that time going to the moon and I crash because the gears won't go down far enough. Excellent. So we notice here that the engine is just fine. The gears are down fully. We'll be able to take off from the moon again, assuming we get there. I gotta stop doubting myself. We're gonna go back to vehicle assembly. Cool thing about this game is if you do fuck up horribly, you can just go right back to the beginning and make that one design tweak you need to. So underneath this, in order to get out of our own atmosphere, we're gonna need some engines of our own, and even to traverse space a little bit and get us oriented in the right direction. We're gonna put a big old fuel tank on there and attach a engine to that. As you notice, I have 3 different types of engines right now. I'm really early on in the career, so I don't have much unlocked. This one right here is a little bit is less powerful. You can see it has a max thrust of 50 compared to this one, which has a max thrust of 200. But the fuel consumption is a lot less, and that's what I need in the ending stages of my journey, because there's no gravity on the moon, and I need to direct myself very little in the actual space once I leave the moon. So we got the engine down there, and we're going to attach another stack decoupler here. And it's going to just hide that up. That's really cool. I like that. And we're going to attach another rocket down here. But we're going to stick 3 fuel tanks on here because this is going to be the rocket that I use to leave Kerbin, leave the home planet here. I'm going to attach another one of these engines on there, and it's not powerful enough. So to conserve fuel with this and to conserve fuel at earlier stages, I'm going to attach something called a booster. These are pretty cool, and we're going to use these because I like these a lot. We're going to switch it to a 5-time symmetry. So down here, or I guess 6-time symmetry. There's a lot of different kinds of configurations you can pick. Let's see how 6 does. Will that be too much? Maybe. We shall see. We'll stick those right there, and then we have the Rockomax BACC solid fuel booster, and these are one-time use engines that you can't stop once they've started. Even if you need to ditch them, you can't stop them in action. So we're going to stick those right there, and that is not lower than the other engine, so we need to lower these a little bit. Because I don't want the engine sticking up, you know, just on that one thing when there's 5 there for a nice solid foundation. And on top of these, we're going to attach some aerodynamic cones. I don't know how much they really help, but, you know, it is what it is. And there's something I also want to do, but I wonder if it'll work right. I want to attach a science module here so that when I do get to the moon, I can do some research there and see what's up. But I don't know if that's going to be possible. We do have 5 boosters, so the main problem I would normally have is getting into space with enough fuel to get back. But I could always just set this up so I can ditch it after I get all my research done. So we're going to, oops. So we got the engine right there. We are going to select, yeah, that down. Separate that. Move this up. Attach another decoupler, which I haven't used this yet. The inline reaction wheel. A medium-sized reaction wheel. This unit contains weighted wheels. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, sure. Let's use that for the first time. I'm going to put some extra batteries on here because of the extra weight provided by that, or the extra electrical charge it actually uses, or it states it uses. Let's put 4, see how that works. Oops. Nope, alright, I guess you don't want to attach there. I guess the command module will have all the batteries, which kind of makes sense, because that is the thing I want to have the most power in the end stages. We're going to attach an antenna on here, so that way we can communicate with Planet Kerbin and send our reports in, just in case we don't make it back. We can, you know, the mission won't be a total wash. Not to say that we won't make it back. We're going to put the science module on there, and then these are goo containment units. And what they do is, you will use these to generate most of your science. It's just some kind of mystery goo in a container, and you test it out in various environments to see what it does. So we could put a couple of those on there. Nah, I don't want that. I don't know what it does, so it scares me. I'm going to put some fins on here. Whoops. Oh, right. To finish this off, we're going to add another decoupler. Boop. Do we need to do that? No, we did not. Boom. So, that decoupler will take out the science station. Yeah. Then we got all these rockets down here. Now we're going to add some fins. Or some wings. That'll let me control this a little bit better. We're going to put those right there. And we're going to put them farther down because we don't want that added weight when we don't need it. Most of the time I don't have too much problem guiding the rocket, but you never know what's going to happen, so it's always good to have a little bit of something there. And I don't like having only one parachute because it just doesn't feel right. So let's see what I can do here. I'm going to put one right there. No, I don't. You know what? I'm gonna risk it. Let's see. Any science things we could add? Subessential utility, aerodynamic, structural. Nah, there's nothing much more I can do. So, with that being said, let's look over to here to our right, where is the staging area. This is where you select which parts of your rockets activate when. These 5 here are, or those 6 are these 6 boosters right here. So when I press space, it's going to activate this 8th stage. When those run out of fuel, I press space again, and it's going to detach those. What I want to do is, as soon as it detaches those, it's going to launch, or it's going to ignite this rocket right here. Which means those fall away, this blasts up, there's no real loss in delta velocity, or delta V. And then this button decouples those rockets, which will then activate this one. I'm going to add another stage here because I don't want these 2 things decoupling at once and being, I don't want to take away one of my engines when I don't need to. Next up, this one right here is this engine here. So that's going to be my final stage rocket, and then last we will decouple that and parachute. So this module is very good at surviving by itself without any kind of landing gear when it lands with a parachute. The reason why we need a landing gear for the moon is because we might be coming in fast, and these modules, certain modules will take more damage than the others. Anyway, we're gonna make a name for this. We'll call it the Voyager. And save that rocket, and we're gonna go to launch. Alright, so here we are on the launch pad. We have Jebediah Kerman here. We have our nav ball. We have our stages over here, some other various gauges. Let's launch this rocket. So we're going to power up the engines to full, and we're going to press space. Oh, first we're going to press T and turn on SAS, which is a assisted steering, and we're going to press space to launch those. And that launches us into our 6th stage, where I will then turn to the right. And as you see the nav ball, when you're steering this rocket, you can't really look at the rocket and steer from there because you have no way to orient yourself in space. So basically I'm going to be looking at the nav ball the entire time and just aligning myself with that. And right now our goal is to get out of Kerbin. So this is our orbit right now. We're going to lift the nav ball up so I can keep steering. And this is our apoapsis, which is the highest point in our orbit. And so as you can see, it gets there and then we just crash right back down. So what we're trying to do is increase this number to 100,000, which will mean we have left Kerbin's atmosphere and their pull. So not their pull, because we're going to be orbiting around them. Let's see. Let's go back to our view of our rocket. And this still has plenty of fuel. We're going plenty fast. We are at almost 40,000 meters up. And we are getting back on track with that. So once this reaches 100,000, I will cut all the engines. And we're just going to coast along until we set up a maneuver to get into what's called a stable orbit, where I'm in no more risk of falling into the atmosphere if I let my engines go. So luckily we have only used our 6th stage, and we're almost out of the atmosphere, which is fantastic. Once again, we want that to be at 100,000 before cutting the engines. And as you can see, that one is dead. We're gonna, let's see, can we glide? Nope. We're gonna the next stage and finish this off to 100,000. Alright, the engines are now cut. Welcome to space. So when it took me a while to even get to this point when I started playing the game, to get above here, because there's no real kind of tutorials, nothing like that. Not that I'm faulting the game for it. I just had to do a lot of reading on the internet before I got to this point, watch some tutorials. Scott Manley is a fantastic YouTuber. I enjoy his videos a lot. So right now, the problem is we are still going to fall. So what we need to do is get in a stable orbit. And what I'm going to do here is set up a maneuver where, as you can see, T-minus 1 minute and 20 seconds. That means in 1 minute and 20 seconds, I have to activate whatever, I have to start my engines to do whatever it is I want to do here. And this is where we edit our orbit. This controls how wide the orbit is, or how long it is, I guess. This lets you tilt it kind of side to side. This, makes it bigger or shorter. And this will tilt it sideways. Or, what is sideways in space? I don't know. So we're going to add a maneuver here. Oops. Nope. I'm going to add a maneuver here. And what we want to do, we have 45 seconds to get this figured out, is we want to make this surround Kerbin. But not that much. So we want this to be less than that. A little bit closer here. 324 and 102. Okay. And so that's fine. That'll just get us to do the first maneuver. As you can see over here, 39 seconds. I'm already late. I split the time. I'll show you better on the second one. Basically, at that one point that I designated, I want to set my engines to maximum thrust at a certain point in space, or pointing at a certain point in space, so I can achieve that orbit that I had assigned myself. And over here, your estimated burn is how long you have to burn those engines for. That's why fuel is so important, because there's just a lot of stages, kind of, and a lot of things that can go wrong. So I got 5 seconds left in this burn. I don't know what the heck that. Okay. I don't know what happened there, but we are going to disengage that round. So the blue is our current orbit. We have 177 and 102, which to me is absolutely fine, absolutely acceptable. That is a stable orbit around Kerbin. So once again, everybody, I welcome you to space. We're going to do some extravehicular maneuvers here. And we are now out in space. Let go, and howdy. Let's see if I can turn the camera around. Up, up, up. Come on, come on. Which way do I gotta turn you? This is Jebediah Kerman, and he is happy as fuck. Let's get back to the ship. I've lost myself here a couple times in other previous missions. So we're going to grab. Whoops, nope. Let's get back up there. Grab, and this your propellant also has a limit, so I've been out of propellant and I just floated away. It's like Gravity, the movie, not the concept or the theory. So yeah, here we are. We're in an orbit over Kerbin, and we need to get here to Moon, and to do that we're going to set that as a target, and that gives us this 2 lines, ascending node and descending node. And that will tell us where we want to start getting to that orbit. Pardon me, I had to sneeze. So we're going to add in a maneuver here. And what we want to do is to try and match this orbit as much as possible. We're going to extend ours a little bit here. So, target position at closest approach. So when our orbit intersects here, this closest approach. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I'll admit I don't know. So what if I do this and I tilt it a little bit? Will that help me at all? No. No. Oh shit. What can we do here? Let's see, what if we use the descending node? I haven't tried that yet. Maybe I might be completely wrong in my concept. Whoop. Moon, target position at closest approach. Okay, yeah, we don't want to do that. We want to go the other way. I should have known. I should have known. We're going to extend our orbit a little bit until we get... I want to be closer, dang it. I wonder if I can tilt it this way. Oh, this way. Yes, there we go. Alright, so this means... if I can get this camera over... No, okay. So we're going to shoot out here, and as we come back, Moon will be passing us, and we'll be entering... we have a Moon encounter right there. And at that point, I'll be able to enter its gravity and hopefully maneuver around a little bit. The problem is that if you look down here, it's a 2 hour and 18-minute burn, which I do not have the fuel for, clearly. So, dang it, what can we do here that might be easy? Oh wait, I think I know the problem. Yep, we don't have an engine really powerful enough to get into that final stage. So, let's see if we can get back. That's our new mission. We're gonna do some science. We will not make it to moon in this video. So this is our orbit over Kerbin. We got the deserts here. I can't see what's over there because there's no sun. There's no soon or whatever. So we're gonna try to land in the desert. Maybe. We'll see what happens. So if we go here, we do atom maneuver, and we make our orbit smaller. We should, as you can see there, intersect the planet at one point. So wherever that intersection happens is where I should be landing. So we're going to extend that over past these rocky rocks. And I don't like being that close to... Whoops. I guess I don't know what I'm doing at all. Nope, maybe I do. Nope. Okay, so that's still a problem because that is an 18-minute burn, which I do not have fuel for. These are the kind of problems that make this game so frustratingly fun. So we're going to take from our apopsis? Sure. I've now lost all confidence in myself. And we just need to make our orbit smaller without needing to burn fuel for 7 seconds. I think I need to ditch the science module. So let's show you some science. We're going to observe our mystery goo. That's going to bring up this little menu here. I've already used these a lot in this particular atmosphere, so I don't get much science from it, but usually that would be like 20 or 30, or depending on how high level you are, or what you're exploring, it gets higher and higher exponentially. So that's going to happen when we do all those. Let's see what happens if we use our Science Junior. We will get 21 science. Yeah, we're going to keep that data. And we are going to... We have the data here, so I wonder if we can... Yeah. There we go. So, now, I wonder if we have enough anything to get anywhere still. Add a maneuver, make the orbit smaller. We're still getting into ridiculous burn times. I don't know if there's a way back. Let's see if we can orient ourselves and just shoot. Alright, and burn. Oh, what? No. What? So that explains why I wasn't working that well. Apparently my engine isn't igniting. Another one of those just wonderful problems that is present in Kerbal Space Program. Luckily, we can revert flight to assembly and fix all these problems in a future video. Thank you for watching. This has been Matt Does Let's Plays.